If you're struggling to forgive yourself for something, it might be because of the way you're thinking about forgiveness itself. Today, I'm going to share 3 key insights about the psychology of forgiveness so that you can let go and move on. And to start, we need to clear up the single biggest misconception about forgiveness. Number 1, forgiveness is a commitment, not a feeling. If you've intentionally done something seriously wrong, you will probably feel guilty. This is a completely normal human reaction, and if you have a functional memory, you will occasionally be reminded of that action that triggered the guilt, and the guilt will get triggered all over again in response. Over time, both the frequency and intensity of the guilt tend to decrease as the strength of the memory fades. But it's naive to expect that the guilt will just disappear entirely as long as your memory persists. This is really important to acknowledge because behind most people's desire for self-forgiveness is an unrealistic expectation that they don't have to feel guilty anymore if they just do the right things, say the right prayers, repeat enough positive self-talk, hammer themselves with enough self-compassion. But short of some kind of neurological condition that wipes out your memory entirely, it's just not going to happen. So here's an alternative way to think about self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness means resisting rumination. Rumination is a form of unproductive negative thinking about the past. It's when you dwell on your mistakes and failings even though it's not helping you. And in my experience, chronic, intense guilt, and what many people describe as the inability to forgive themselves, is always caused by this mental habit of rumination. If you continue to dwell on your mistakes, they will continue to feel fresh instead of fading naturally over time. The implication of all this is that self-forgiveness, it's sort of an anti-skill. It's about deliberately not engaging in the habit of rumination when memories or triggers of your past mistakes and failings come up. For example, when, a memory of that time you said something deeply hurtful to your sister, for instance, pops up, you can acknowledge and validate the feeling of guilt, then refocus, shift your attention onto whatever it is that's meaningful in the moment. Or if you, unexpectedly find yourself rehashing or dwelling or thinking about the affair you had in your previous marriage, you briefly acknowledge and validate the guilt, then immediately shift your attention onto something else instead of continuing to ruminate, which just dredges up and rekindles all that guilt. Of course, breaking a major mental habit like rumination, it's usually fairly difficult in practice. And in my next point, I'm going to share what I believe is the key thing you need to understand about breaking this habit of rumination. But first, a really practical suggestion. Practice validating your guilt. Remind yourself in the moment that even though guilt feels bad, and maybe what you did was wrong, the feeling of guilt itself in the moment is not bad. And in fact, it's just your brain's way of trying to help you to not ever do that thing again in the future. The better you are at validating this difficult emotion, guilt, the less intense it will be. And because it's less intense, you'll feel less strong of a pull to continue to ruminate on it. And therefore, you'll have an easier time letting go. If you'd like a little bit more structure about how to get better at validating difficult emotions like guilt, I've got a free guide on the topic that you can download, and I'll put a link to it in the notes. Okay, let's get to the second major point you need to know about self-forgiveness. Number 2, self-forgiveness means taking responsibility for your attention. You can't control your emotions, not directly anyway. And you definitely can't control what other people think or feel. And you most certainly cannot control what happened in the past, including things you did in the past that you're feeling guilty about. All of which means when it comes to self-forgiveness, there are really only 2 things that you have any control over: what you do and what you think. And once you have made amends to the degree that you can for what you've done, that takes care of the behavioral part, which means really all that's left, the only thing you have any control over, is how you choose to think. Of course, like we talked about earlier, resisting the pull of rumination can be surprisingly hard. Usually this is because rumination, it acts as a defense mechanism against helplessness. Here's how it works. Because there's nothing you can do about the mistake itself anymore, you feel helpless. But if you aren't willing to acknowledge and accept that helplessness, then ruminating on the event and maybe how you feel about it, analyzing why you did it, considering possible alternatives, what you should have done instead, imagining how other people might feel, etc. This all gives the illusion of control. It feels like problem solving, like you're doing something. And as a result, it temporarily, that's key, temporarily distracts you from that helplessness. This is why rumination and all the guilt it produces sticks around as a habit, because in the very short term, it alleviates helplessness, and therefore it's reinforcing. But if you want to break the rumination habit and stop rekindling your guilt all the time, you need to take responsibility for your attention and to make the deliberate choice in the moment not to ruminate on that memory that was just triggered. And while controlling our attention is difficult, it is absolutely something you can do, but it all starts with a clear-eyed acceptance of your responsibility for your own attention. Your attention is going to get pulled all sorts of places by memories and emotions and what other people say. Even though it's hard, it is fundamentally our job to decide where we put our attention and where we don't put it. Painful memories don't trigger you. You choose to dwell on them, which sustains your guilt in the long run. Now, I get that that sounds harsh, but there's really no other way out of this cycle unless you can accept it. The decision not to dwell in the past is very much under our control, but only if we take responsibility for it. Now, before we end, I have one more point that's really important that I want to share on the psychology of forgiveness. It's very counterintuitive, but arguably it's the most important of the three. Number 3, self-forgiveness is about your future, not your past. As a psychologist, I've spent more than a decade hearing all sorts of stories from all sorts of people who struggle with chronic guilt and a real difficulty forgiving themselves and letting go of their mistakes. And when you hear these stories, you hear enough of them, you start to see a really strong pattern. Dwelling on the past is usually procrastination on embracing the future. Very often, an underlying problem that people have when they struggle with chronic rumination and guilt is a fear of moving into the future, taking risks, trying something new, leaving an old life or identity behind them in order to move on and evolve into a new one. From this perspective, remaining stuck on past mistakes, it provides a kind of psychological justification for not moving forward in your life. To make this a little bit more specific, I want to share a story from an old client of mine. Jessica, wasn't her real name, but we'll call her that. Jessica had struggled for almost over a decade with intense guilt and the inability to forgive herself because she had cut her father out of her life. Years later, though, she went on to learn that the reason she cut him out of her life was based on bad information that turned out to be false. Unfortunately, when she tried to get back in touch and reestablish a relationship, she learned that he had passed away. And she spent the next 11 years of her life in a state of almost constant guilt and self-criticism. But the thing that became really apparent to me after just a few sessions talking to Jessica and learning her story was that after the death of her father, she essentially put her life on hold. She broke up with the guy she was engaged to be married to. She basically stagnated in her career and stopped trying to kind of progress and do new things. She even gave up her biggest passion in life, which had been travel. So she came to work with me in therapy because she thought that she needed to learn how to forgive herself so that she could move on with her life. But in the end, it was the reverse. She needed to get on with her life in order to forgive herself. So we started experimenting with small little acts of re-engaging with different parts of her old life that gave her joy, but that she had given up. So we kind of designed some little short road trips around to different places in the state she was from, just to kind of get back a little bit into that old pattern of travel. She decided to take on a couple new projects at work to get back into that old kind of ambitious part of her at work that was always trying to push it and do new things. And she even went out on a few dates to kind of recharge her romantic life. And sure enough, the more she started re-engaging with her life and trying to move forward even just a little bit, the easier she found it letting go of this tendency to dwell on the past and her mistakes. Now, the guilt never went away entirely. Like we talked about earlier, guilt never does unless something happens to your memory, but it became far less consuming once she made some of these small decisions to start moving forward in her life despite feeling guilty. And that's really key. You're never going to not feel guilty at all, or feel completely ready to move on. It's only by moving on that you start to feel better. So to sum all this up, here's the big takeaway, I think. You can't let go of the past if you're unwilling to move into the future. So besides committing to not ruminating on the past, arguably the best way to forgive yourself is to begin living more assertively and with agency. Now, to wrap all this up, I want to pose one really critical question for you to reflect on. If you didn't feel guilty anymore, what would you be doing differently in your life? Whatever the answer to that question is, that is what you need to start doing if you really want to forgive yourself. We forgive ourselves by moving on. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Remember that if you want some extra help on trying to break the cycle of rumination, which is what keeps all the guilt going, check out the free guide I put together on validating difficult emotions, and you can find that in the description below. Lastly, I'll say that if you enjoyed this video, here's another one that I think you'll also really like.